Hello and welcome to Mass Obscurity. My name's Chewy, and today I've got a rare video game review for you today. Not that video game reviews are even that rare, or this even much of a review. Alright, I'm taking a look at a fairly rare video game today. It's a game with great music. It's been ported over to 3 different systems. It's been brought to the United States about 4 different times, yet it's still, in all those iterations, pretty rare. If you haven't figured it out by now, yes, of course I am talking about
Ogre Battle Episode 5, The March of the Black Queen. Released in 1993 for Super Nintendo by Quest and distributed by Enix. It was later re-released on the PlayStation in 1997 by Atlas, also distributed by Square Enix. It actually happened to be one of the rarest Super Nintendo games released in the United States, with only 25,000 copies released here. The game begins in a rather unique way, with the sage Warren Moon asking you about your name, and then pulling tarot cards out of a deck and asking questions related to the arcana on the tarot. Now, for each tarot, there are 3 answers. One corresponds to divine, one corresponds to neutrality, and one corresponds to evil. They're phrased in such a way that it's difficult to tell which is which, and there's actually guides you can find on the internet that are simply about what choices to make for what class you're going to be. This was one of the strangest character class creation systems anywhere on the Super Nintendo. There are essentially 4 different types your main character could end up with, depending on how you answered the questions. Good, which could cast Banish twice in the front row and Ice Cloud once in the back row. Neutral Good, which could use Slash twice in the front row and Thunder once in the back row. Neutral, which could use Slash 3 times in the front row and Ayanuki once in the back row. Or Evil, who could use Poison twice in the front row or Phantom once in the back row. Now that all sounds very confusing at the start, but once you realize how the characters and units are set up in this game, it's not quite so bad. Your characters are arranged into different units, some in the front row, some in the back row, and depending on where they're standing is what abilities they're allowed to use. My dad once said it looked like football formations, and it really kind of does. See, this is what I was talking about. The units are set up in front row and back row, and if you take a look at each character, you can see their abilities in the front or in the back. You can also see their stats and things like that, but it starts to get really, really complicated, and there are entire guides online just dedicated to how you can get the best ending out of 12 that this game has. And once you go to the battle maps, it's something completely different. It's more like a real-time strategy game. You select your units, you can deploy new units if you have them. This is the first map, so you don't have anybody else yet. So you choose which unit you want, which action you want them to perform, and where you want them to go. And they will go to that place. If it's an enemy-occupied city, you will liberate that city. You'll gain or lose reputation depending on about 6 different factors. Time moves in real time, from day to night, night to day, and all of that affects how your characters fight in battle, what happens to your alignment when you fight during that time. There are so many numbers games going on behind the scenes that it can almost get irritating, but the game is still a lot of fun. Once you liberate a town, you're also given the option to pull another tarot card, and depending on what it is, it can have different effects on the world. There I pulled a sun card, which, if it hadn't already been day, makes it daytime. It actually makes it high noon, so it actually reversed my day back to high noon from about the afternoon. There are hidden cities, hidden temples, hidden treasures, all kinds of things. So you kind of have to explore the map and find places where it looks like there could be a city or could be something there. And here I pull a Temperance card, which in battle, if you use it in battle, gets rid of status ailments. Out in the world map, it gives you reputation. This guy is Lance. He's the first character that joins me on my rebellion against the Empire. Pretty cool character, but not worth deploying him in the first map. I mean, he's going to cost me some money, which I don't really feel like spending at the time. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the message speed and the in-game movement speeds. Time will go faster. It'll move towards night a lot faster. But sometimes that's useful because later on the maps just get so big that it can take 2 hours to complete one single map. And now that I've liberated everything, well, there you go, there's a sun card that shows you what it really does. Now that I've liberated all the towns and temples in this map, I'm going to go straight for the boss. There are actually 2 hidden treasures on this map, but for this video's sake, I'm not going to find them. They're not all that important. There'll be minor equipment that can help you out a little bit. I just got one from that temple too, but I don't bother equipping them sometimes. They can do various different things for various different characters. Sometimes they're almost completely useless. So usually when you fight a boss, they've got something to say to you. Some of them, if you fight them with a certain character, there will be a scene between the characters. And here we go into the battle screen. This is what your battle looks like. You can set your targets in battle, and I'll show you what the Magician Tarot card does. It summons a pillar of fire that hits your whole enemy unit. It's kind of useful here because your characters kind of suck towards the beginning of the game, so you'll see them miss a lot. Even though this guy's just a freaking wizard, this is the first fight in the game. We're only level 1. He's like level 3 or 5 or something like that, so you miss quite often, but it's not too punishing. It's not like it's going to kill you. It's just there to train. And even if it does beat you by running you out of moves, you'll fall back and you'll be able to attack him again. See, there I was able to finish him right at the end there. And then he says, you know, hey, congratulations, you beat me, now we'll follow your rebellion. And you liberate the boss city, and then you get a whole army of people to help you in the next map. Once you actually get this army, you're going to want to reorganize them because the default organization on the game just is terrible. They make some of the worst units possible. So after you save here, I'm not going to save. Those are further games. But you go in here and take a look, and you can take a look at each new character. You got 2 wizards, 2 fighters, and a knight here. This is Warren, and he's a wizard, and he's got 2 hellhounds in front of him. That's going to be changed. You got clerics, you got Valkyries, you got golems, and then you've got a side panel of extras over there. You can have up to 100 characters in your army at any given time. And then this is like the world map, and just different maps will show up throughout the whole game. Once you get further into the game, your characters, as they gain levels, can become other things. There's a couple of samurai. I've got some hawkmen, some griffins, knights, just all kinds of different things. Plus, you can recruit neutral characters, so your army gets really big, really fast. They all have different moves, different abilities they can use, and there's just so many possibilities.
While the game can be kind of irritating at times, and it can be very long, it's well worth checking out. You can find it on the Wii Virtual Console. The PlayStation version can still be found. The Super Nintendo version, not so much. And if you can find it, it's usually pretty expensive. But it's definitely worth looking at. This has been Chewy for Mass Obscurity. Thank you for watching.